Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network or watching us right here on YouTube. We love movies. And, you know, it is March. It's Women's History Month. And Yara is like, you are proving that you can break all the bounds, that movies do not have to be made by, you know, boring cis white straight men. We can have good, exciting movies. And do you know, if you have a date night, if you have to curl up with popcorn, you better watch Demise, because this movie is going to have you. Yara, this came from your brain. She wrote and directed it, and I need to know everything. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Hi, Robert. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited for you to be here, and I'm so proud and honored and excited for you to write and direct your own another feature film, and here it is.
Thank you so much.
The movie is out. We can stream it right now wherever we are. You can go to Instagram. You can go to Demise, the film.
Yes.
Or you can go to the website as well, where you can get more information, which is demisethefilm.com, and it's streaming. You can stream it today. You can get it on demand.
Yes, you can, as well as Amazon Prime, Vudu, Roku, and many platforms.
So firstly, let's talk about this film before we talk about a little bit more about you. The movie has a crazy premise, an exciting premise. You know, a landscaper living a double life with a wife and a girlfriend on the side, and babies and children and drama galore. How did you come up with this story?
Yeah, so that's always a tough question because, you know, it's just the images in the story just kept, you know, it was just racing through my mind, and I couldn't type fast enough. It was just insane how all of this unraveled through my imagination. And but besides that, I've always been a fan of, you know, the 90s thrillers like Fatal Attraction, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Basic Instinct. I love all those movies. So, you know, I've always wanted to write a movie like that, you know, with my own take on it, with a little Latino flavor. So, yeah, Demise was born. And so, yeah.
Well, when obsession is your darkest secret, which is such a creepy, scary tagline. Tell us what it was like. How hard is it to get a movie made? How did you get this movie? You wrote a treatment, you wrote a script. How did it happen?
Yeah. So yes, there's so many challenges, you know, going along the way and trying to get this off the ground. And so it was crazy because I was working with my producing partner, Annabelle, and initially we were trying to get a different screenplay off the ground that I wrote called Epic Love. And it was like the budget was super high, and it was just very difficult for anyone to roll the dice on an unknown filmmaker like me. And so, you know, we sort of pivoted and said, you know, let's produce Demise. We don't need X amount of, you know, it doesn't need to be this insane budget. And I was like, you know, I don't need a big, you know, A-list star celebrity or whatever, A-D-C-B list celebrity. I was just like, I just need some good talent to pull this story off, because to me, it didn't matter how popular they were or how much work they had. If they had the chops to pull off these roles, that was the only concern of mine. That was the only thing I was worried about. So, you know, making all those decisions led us to actually being able to finish this movie. And really, we just dug deep and came across a lot of great actors, great crew members. My editor is this brilliant editor, Lawrence Jordan. He's actually a studio editor who just have so many stories to share. So
it's fascinating. Besides the story, just the fact that films can be made and put on a platform and be out here to be watched. Just an idea become to reality is so inspiring. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Your movie stars some beautiful people.
Yes.
Carlo Mendez, who you may know, Eva Mendez's brother, who is some chops of an actor himself, who really makes you fall for this crazy life that he's living. And then Liz Fenning and Crystal Hernandez, you're the women of this epic tale. What was it like on set? How do you, as a director, get the performance you want as out of your actors? Are you someone who gives a lot of notes? Are you very hands-on? Do you do a lot of takes? Give us a little bit of the background. What's the nerdy life on set like for you?
Sure. Yeah. So my spin on things is a little different because I was an actor for so many years. So I understand how to talk to actors, and we have this lingo that everyone understands. And so me personally, I feel that if the actor, has the ability to do this role and pull it off in the way that they did, I like to give my actors a little space so they don't feel hovered over all the time. And I like to give them a little bit of freedom, because that's what I like as an actor. Like, let me play around here before you start picking and pulling.
Me too.
So knowing that, I like to give them some room. And then if it ever came to a point where I needed to give them notes or adjustments, we would do that. And so, but yeah, it's all in the casting, right? It's half the battle. So
yeah. Absolutely. So the film gets made and the film comes out, and we're talking about it's Women's History Month, and you and your journey. You're a filmmaker, a woman filmmaker in a very male-dominated industry,
yes.
And making your own original content. You're not only directing it but writing it. What barriers have you had to face in this business? Do you face barriers? Do people always second guess and say no? And who are you? And what?
All the time.
How do you keep going? How do you keep going? How do you get the strength and the courage to keep on going?
Sure. I feel that if anybody, and doesn't matter whether if it's film, if anyone feels like you're put on this earth for a specific, duty and call of life, then go for it, and don't let anyone take that from you. And I've always felt very passionate about cinematic storytelling and writing and on the whole nine. And so as many times as someone would say, like, is there something else you want to do? Or like, this isn't really working out. It's year, 15? I would be like, I'm sticking through it. This is what I want to do. I have no backup plan. There's nothing in the entire world that I want to do. So I think sticking through it, you can surprise yourself on how far you can come. And I feel like I'm ironically just getting started. So.
And you're just getting started. I love how in your bio it says the new kid in town, but you have directed over 100 episodes of a television, a soap series.
Yeah, so that's where I learned how to direct. Like, I guess it would be like, standard directing. It was this internet soap opera, and I was a second unit director. And so I had a lot of fun on there because the guy that created it would just let me go free and didn't know what I was doing. Just like, here's a pile of scenes, go direct them. And it was really intimidating at the time because I was working with soap opera stars that were on TV, on other soap opera, shows. And so I was just like very nervous at that time. But yeah, I kind of learned the ropes along the way. And yeah.
And along the way, studied acting and was mentored by very famous actors and hit the ground running. And you're from California.
Yes, I'm originally from San Jose, Northern California.
So I was going to say that San Jose, not necessarily the LA life. So what was it like when you were a youngster? I mean, you fell in love, were acting and wanted to be in plays at a very young age. What was it like with your family when you have this artistic gene that kind of hit you over the head? When did you fall in love with theater and entertainment?
Yeah, so at an early age, one of my aunts, she was in this local play at the church that we all used to go to, and she was a dancer and an actress, and they would rehearse every weekend. And on the weekends, I would go to my dad's side of the family. So she was just like, why don't you be in the play too? Like, I'll just bring you to the rehearsals and, this and that. And so I was just blown away by the thought of, wow, when someone, you can actually do this for a living if you grow up and you can choose this path for life. And I just loved it. And ever since then, I spent all of my childhood creating and, creating dances and audio recordings and just always, storytelling. So
what the story when you've got that bug there, that's it, you've got it. And it's and you have your work now out there. How do you this is a question many people ask me in my own life. Finances and film and creating art. How do you wrestle between money is something we all need, and we need money to make art. So what advice have you learned about being able to fundraise or to get people to finance their own projects? Not everybody, we're all out here trying to hustle and pay our bills. So
Right.
what have you learned along the way about raising capital to make art?
Sure. I guess if you don't, so, you know, it's always a struggle when you have indie films, because I was looking at our budget and then looking at the real hard prices of things. And I was like, this isn't adding up, or how am I going to pull this off? And it was very challenging because aesthetics is a big thing for me. And I didn't want to put my name on something that looked indie, you know, I didn't want bad lighting. I didn't want shitty locations. And so I was like, gosh, how am I going to get this done? And so, you know, besides our executive producers doing the financial side of things, I realized that, and I didn't really know this when I was doing it, but you kind of have to be a great salesman, because I found these locations and strangers were helping me out because I was telling them my story and I was saying, please, I will feature your store in this movie. Like, you have to, you know, just jump on board of what we're doing here. And, you know, I would let them know, like, I was just a longtime filmmaker and this is my chance. And so we've gotten so much help from people that didn't even know me, because I opened my mouth and I went there in person and I was just aggressive about it, but in a nice, good way. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, give this to me now. But, and it pays off if you know, can help sell, you know, I guess, you know, this dream and this movie. You know, I would definitely recommend that to other filmmakers when you're looking for great locations that you can't necessarily afford. So that is a big tip that I learned along the way.
I think that's you know, just advocating for yourself, just having the guts to ask sometimes is all it really takes. You'd be surprised.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, your movie does not look like it was chinsed out in any way. The cinematography looks beautiful. The locations look beautiful. This is the scene, a baby. I can't tell you who's baby. I can't tell you what goes on in the movie. But yeah, I did see the movie. I did get a chance to see them.
Awesome.
You are quite the little sneaky roller coaster ride that you. When you mentioned movies like Basic Instinct, like the quintessential Fatal Attraction, these 90s, you know, movies that we grew up with that we loved. If it's The Rabbit in the Pot with Glenn Close and Michael Douglas over Sharon Stone and The Ice Pick, you know, we've kind of forgotten. But Gone Girl came out, like movies like that where there's a mystery. You know, we are always obsessed, no pun intended, with love stories that go right, go wrong. I mean, Netflix has a litany of documentaries that come out. What has it been like now that it's out and people have seen it? What has the feedback been since people have watched the movie?
Yes. Well, first I can tell you that we had our premiere on the 21st of February, and, you know, nothing beats hearing those live reactions while sitting in the theater of 200 people and all of the shouts and the gasps and the, you know, oohs and ahs. Like, there's just no other feeling in the world. And that's like the biggest payoff for me. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of texts and just messages or just people saying how much they love the movie. And wow, that's like the best feeling ever, because you want to entertain. This is what it's all about. And I want people to enjoy the story that I want to tell. And I'm really happy that I would say, like, mostly everybody, not to be cocky or anything, but mostly everyone's saying that they like it. And, you know, if they didn't, I'm pretty sure they're keeping it to themselves. So.
Well, that's what I want people to remind them while we're still talking, to follow the film, Demise the Film, on Instagram. Go to demisethefilm.com. You could click links and you can make sure you can get it and you can stream it. And it's now wherever movies are, wherever you listen to, wherever you get your movies, look for it, find it, search away for it on demand and available. When you make films nowadays, we live in such a different world where we don't always have to go down to the local movie theater and buy popcorn and buy a ticket. How does that change the way you present your work, that now we can watch it right away from our home? Is it harder to get the movies heard because there's more options? Is it, what are your takes on the on demand versus the old school, you know, cinema like?
Yeah, so I think when I'm initially creating something, I'm always thinking of the big screen, the cinematic space, right? Not the made for TV look. So in that way, I still aim for a theatrical release, even though I might not get it, even though we didn't have it, only because the aesthetics, I want it to be there. And as well as the music. I don't know if you heard the soundtrack, but you know, that thing right there was very challenging. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of movies out there, and it's just really hard to get yourself, you know, seen and heard and get our film out there. But I feel like eventually it's going to take some time. I feel like eventually this movie will find its audience. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. And I feel like right now it's just mainly the people that know the cast and crew members that are watching it, maybe their friends as well. But I hope it, you know, I hope it goes further than that. So
it will. It's going to, because you wait till the word of mouth spreads about the twists and turns of this movie. Also, I think that I'm obsessed with the idea that somebody is going to sit home on a Saturday with their partner and order takeout and say, "This looks like fun," and then watch this movie. That gives me joy for you.
yes.
It's a great date night, but I don't think it's a good first date. You don't want to look at that person and say, "Are they the killer?" You don't want to, you know, make sure you know them. So what happens next? What is it hard to let go of these projects when they've been in your world for so long? Like, it's out in the world. So do you have to like take a moment to get over it, or do you jump right back into something?
You know, it's just, there's so many different phases through this, especially during post-production, which is the longest phase that I had to go through with all of this. And so when, you know, different things were completed, like the editing or the color or the music, you know, me and, you know, my composer would be like, "Gosh, we've been working together for this long. Like, now what? This is kind of sad." And so, yeah, it's sort of like you're relieved that it's done, but you want to do it again with the people that have been great to you and that you connect with. And so I'm definitely writing a sequel.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I don't know how many years it'll take to, you know, get it done, but it's gonna happen. And now I'm looking for an agent and a manager, and hopefully I can direct other people's projects and get some of my other scripts off the ground. So,
well, if you have a project out there, all my young filmmakers out there, all my young actors, look, she did it all by herself. She got this out here. It looks beautiful. It is so entertaining and fun. Wrote it, directed it, was involved in this piece, and that is no small feat in show business and in Hollywood. So
no, it's not.
I hope you're really proud. It was really fun. I don't know you. I did not know you. I don't know the people in the cast. I have no connection to this film, and it was a thriller ride. It was a roller. It was a lot of fun, and your cast and your work, it shines. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate it.
DemiseTheFilm.com. Demise the film on Instagram, and stream Demise. This weekend sounds good to me. It's the perfect time to take a moment and catch it. Thank you so much for being here. We're ready for all the rest of the work.
Yay! Awesome. It was great talking with you.
Talk to you too. Yeah. Do you like Sliver, and do you like all those movies? I like them on movies. I don't like to see them in my life. Everybody, don't find me in a dumpster. Look, I am engaged. I'm getting married. He's not the killer. But all those, oh, come on. As an actor, you know, when Neil Patrick Harris in Gone Girl plays the killer, you were shook, right? You were all shook because he was Doogie Howser and the How I Met Your Mother, or the big, I don't know what show he was on. Look, the point is, I love original work. And for Women's History Month, in a world where the men are dominating Hollywood and men are telling you where your money should go, she wrote it and she did it her damn self. And you know what the answer to that question is? If you have something, you just do it your own damn self too. You want to make something, you just do it. You want to have someone done, you just get up and write it. You want to star in a movie, then make your own. You want to host a talk show? You get a fake brick wall and here you are. That's what we do here on the Roundtable. I hope you're join us every single week. Follow me at Robert M. Bannon. Go to robertbannon.com. Get tickets to see me at 54 Below, celebrating Pride with the Robert Bannon Pride playlist. It's going to be a blast of a show. It's going to be a mess. And join us every single day on the Broadway Podcast Network and right here on the Roundtable on YouTube. Subscribe, send it to a friend, click the notification button, whatever the young kids say. Till next time, everybody, thank you so much for being here. And remember, as the tagline of this show, the best is yet to come. Bye, everyone.